I call the member for Baulkham Hills.
I thank the Speaker and acknowledge the previous Speaker. My grandmother used to go to that synagogue, which is a great institution in the St George district. Mr Speaker, it has been a challenging year for charity and service providers due to the economic and social disruptions caused by COVID-19, which has increased demand for community services yet limited opportunities to fundraise. The Hills has not been immune to the impact of the pandemic. Still, we are fortunate to have local organisations such as Hills Community Aid that assist those most vulnerable and marginalised. This evening, Mr Speaker, I dedicate my private member statement to the hard-working and dedicated staff under the legendary leadership of the Executive Officer and Program Director Missy Beer, who make the Hills Community Aid the exceptional organisation that it is. I also extend my gratitude to the board, led by the compassionate Maria Kovacic, and their commitment and effectiveness in ensuring the HCA strives to provide quality service assistance across the Hills. Finally, I pay tribute to the generous and selfless volunteers of Hills Community Aid who make it possible for the organisation to deliver pivotal community services through a vast range of social, financial and educational programs, including but not limited to emergency relief, homelessness prevention, domestic violence support, job skills, learning, leisure learning and community transport. One individual I'd like to make special mention of is the extraordinary Shema Pereira. Shema is the HCA's Financial Inclusion Program Manager who has recently celebrated 20 years of service to the organisation. She joined HCA in May 2001, initially for 4 months as a volunteer to cover a period of maternity leave and help with IT and administrative tasks. It was not long before she was offered a role to join the team permanently, and 2 decades later, Shema's deep knowledge and expertise are at the core of the Hills Community Aid's Financial Inclusion Program. Shema dedicates many additional hours to deliver first-rate service to some of the most vulnerable and disadvantaged in the community, blending compassion with professionalism to ensure that most in need receive the highest quality support and guidance. Notably, Shema has been instrumental in establishing the Hills Community Aid's No Interest Loan Scheme and the Energy Accounts Payments Assistance Scheme in the Hills, and has developed an outreach service under NILS and the emergency relief funding in numerous locations to ensure those in need can access assistance. I'm told that it was not long before Shema joined Hills Community Aid that she saw a need for the NILS program pioneered by the Good Shepherd Sisters in Victoria and presented it to the board. The board at the time was not as enthusiastic as she was and reluctantly agreed to deliver the new program in 2006. In 2016, the Department of Fair Trading nominated Hills Community Aid as the most efficient loan provider in New South Wales, and in 2017, Hills Community Aid successfully tendered for continued NILS funding and increased its reach to broader Western Sydney. Mr Speaker, while the NILS program could be seen as a constant in the Hills for over a decade, it now has the opportunity to be considered a constant in Western Sydney as well. In the period from 2014 to 2020, Shema has conducted over 1,100 client visits and has been responsible for the assessment and processing of $100,000 in food vouchers, $130,000 in EAPA support, $20,000 in phone vouchers and 551 NILS loans worth $646,730 from September 2018 to the present day. Mr Speaker, Shema epitomises what it means to be dedicated to serving the community, continually growing above and beyond the requirements of her job to help her clients and striving to exceed expectations. I offer my sincerest congratulations to Shema and thank her for a selfless and inspirational service to the community. Mr Speaker, I was honoured to attend the official reopening of Hills Community Aid last month and view the new renovations courtesy of the New South Wales Government's Community Building Partnerships program. The pandemic has placed a significant strain on volunteer-driven organisations, so I was glad to see the funding from the Community Building Partnership program go towards the upgrade of Hills Community Aid's office and improve the utilisation of space for the organisation's clients, staff and volunteers. I commend Hills Community Aid for their resilience, strength and flexibility to support our community through these challenging times, and I look forward to seeing what they have to achieve in 2021 and indeed beyond.
Thank the member for Baulkham Hills. Are there any